Yeah. Yeah, I was sort of, when I got it, it was going to go 3 years Okay, you just checked it too. Well, this kind of was, I run an extra USB, 2 extra microphones, mic stands down there. I bought a headset, but of course you don't need it. Like being at a wedding table. Yeah.
Yes, totally up to you. No problem. Hi, everybody. Just look up. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. Waiting for a couple more guests. Thank you.
Well, either way, I have two shots. Either for you. Yeah. See, that was pretty good.
I can do it if you want. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Can I get everyone's attention? We're going to get started now. And part of the reason is because we're doing something a little bit, well, a few things that are new this year. We're live streaming this AGM and the presentation. So anyone in our community, board members, participants who aren't able to be here in person with us today are able to participate on their computers. And it's also being recorded. And that link will be sent around. So if there's something you want to share it with, or if you want to go through the presentation again, that option will be available. So I want to take everything off first by saying thank you to all of you for being here. We really appreciate feedback and connection and engagement with everybody within our community. The AGM today, just a couple of housekeeping things. We are going to have the staff do a presentation. That's this setup. Staff are going to do a presentation with some highlights from 2018. It's going to be about a 20-minute presentation. We are going to need to have a hard stop no later than 12:45. So we'll do the presentation and we'll have some time for questions and answers. And the reason for the hard stop at 12:45 is we have to create a second room here so that respective boards can go through the board business. So if you are a member of the board, and I see that we've got a number of board members here, and you are able to stay, great. If not, we of course have the teleconferencing option for you as well. There's a couple of reasons why we invited everybody here together. One is simply that there are 9 boards that our organization works with. Alberta and Ontario making up the other ones in Canada. So there is an efficiency reason. But it's also because we do want to get everyone together. We're 7 separate legal entities, but we form a community. The 6 affiliated societies provide and deliver very unique programs from each other, and community partnerships could not be more important moving forward. Just to recap, the Disability Foundation empowers and inspires people with physical disabilities to reimagine what's possible. The foundation essentially supports the affiliated societies, and the programs themselves offer opportunities for a variety of different things. Now, at the end of 2017, we had, with the boards and the staff and input from volunteers as well, established that the mission for the foundation is to provide these opportunities, and our mandate is growth. We want to be able to reach more people. We know that there's a lot of impact being done through the affiliated societies, but we want to help even more people. Program enhancements is a really important part of that. How do we improve and do even better and do even more in the community? There were 4 key priorities that we identified to help guide us in the next 5 years. The first one is community and volunteer engagement. We are, even though we're a group of 7 organizations, we are a small charity. And so the growth that we're envisioning isn't something that we can do on our own. So working with other organizations, but also engaging with volunteers, that's really important for us to be able to achieve the success we're looking for. Funds development and communications both requires funding. And communications is important because if people don't know about us, they're not going to know to support us. The third is innovation, and that really has a lot to do with ensuring that there's some research and development in place so that we're strategic in how we expand, so that we're being informed in the decisions we make moving forward. And lastly, lean operations. It's really important for donors and funders to know that we're doing everything we can to ensure that we are the best steward of donor dollars possible. So that's just a quick recap. Now I'm really pleased. I'm just going to mention the 6 organizations: BC Moss, Connectra, Disabled Independent Partners Association, Disabled Salmon Association of British Columbia, Tetra Society of North America, and the Vancouver Adapted Music Society are the 6 primary affiliated societies that the foundation supports. And I'm really pleased to introduce our team members who will be the highlights from the last year. Stephen Hunter.
Hello, glad to see you all. I'm here to speak about BC Moth, and of course, BC Moth provides opportunities for people with physical disabilities to access outdoor recreation. And some of the highlights we had for 2018 included our 30th anniversary celebration, where we had 3 different weekends up at Ager Lake, up in the interior of BC, and it was well supported, and it continued to grow over the 3 weekends. In terms of the other on the water activities for paddling and hiking, we had, for the children, we had 34 children involved in our paddling program and 10 in the hiking program. This was a growth, and we, of course, always like to build with the younger set because they are people that funders are happy to support. And we had to support the kids. We had 2 kids' days down at the program at Creekside. And as I said, we had 34 clients there, children, and then the hikers. We had 2 hiking kids' days out at DSA, which coincided with the DSA Kids' Day. So we combined the 2 out there for the hiking part. And for the increase in participants and volunteers, we had an additional 94 clients in hiking, and we had 44 volunteers to support that effort. In the paddling, we had 140 clients, and we had 22 volunteers. Of course, as you probably are well aware, this was our 3rd year of opportunity, 3rd year of the program for paddling, and it's growing every year. It's with that facility down there at Creekside Community Center, and sharing the docks with the guided boat facility is really a very attractive opportunity for people and our clients to share. And what better place is there to go paddling than there? Trail Rider Rentals, that's the program. The rental program is primarily after the program ends, which we have supported, of course, with a hiking coordinator. But after the program ends at the end of August, then we get into offering the trail riders through to the end of May or the middle of May to clients who wish to rent a trail rider for $10 a day. They supply their own Sherpas. They come and pick up the trail riders at our office, and then they come back. And in some cases, we ship them off and have, for example, ship them to Montreal, and then the program or the individuals that were putting down a hike together down in Machu Picchu took the trail riders from there, Montreal, as their luggage, and went down and did that. So we fulfilled a big dream for some people who wanted to go to Machu Picchu. We piloted our first live stream event with the trail rider, and it's something that we'll continue to try and do. We shot actually about an hour and a half of live stream video of a hike out at Pacific Spirit Park, and then had it available. I'm not sure how many people saw it from end to end, but it was an interesting process, and we hope to make it more interactive in the future. And in terms of this hiking thing, this is up at Quarry Rock out in Deep Cove, and our star, there he is here, Eric Klondike, was in the chair, and I think that's right. Yeah, so YDR supported a video of that hike.
Okay, so those guests here today who are connected to Connect Trail, you're probably familiar with Steve Street. He's the program coordinator. Unfortunately, he's unable to be here today, so I'm going to give his highlight for him. Connect Trail helps people with physical disabilities contribute to society through opportunities for employment or volunteering. There are a number of things that from 2017 to 2018 that we wanted to focus on. The Abilities Expo and Job Fair in 2018 had the highest attendance rate so far, over 300 in attendance. In addition, we introduced the Speakers Bureau. The Speakers Bureau is intended to create an opportunity for persons with disabilities who have a story they want to share. The office finds opportunities for those individuals to speak at Lunch and Learns in corporations and companies. And we actually have, not only is she the chair of the Tetra board, but Alexis right here is also in the roster and one of our speakers. In addition, we completed a 3-year employment mentorship project with UBC. That was a big project. We completed that in August with one of the highlights being that 31% of participants did secure employment at the end of their engagement with the program. We have really tried to focus on having themes for our workshops and really enhancing the experience. It's important for the content to be meaningful. And so we welcome participants to let us know what they're interested in. A couple of themes that we really are honing in on is financial management, for example, as well as recreation, travel, technology, arts and culture. In total, we had 111 attendees for the Connect Trail workshops in 2018. And like we said, the strategic partnerships and the community partnerships are incredibly important. So we want to make sure that we're recovering and we're positioning Connect Trail as a resource, but also working closely with others. 311 referrals to other organizations is what we tracked in 2018. Disabled Independent Gardeners Association, again, Steve is now the office coordinator, and he's unable to be here to make this presentation. We do want to share with everyone that DIGA provides opportunities for people with physical disabilities to actively participate in gardening. In 2018, it was a real focus to revisit DIGA to ensure that it's a very highly participatory experience for everyone. Steve Street, Timon is the office coordinator. Shireen Pasco is our field coordinator, and they've been working on developing workshops, working with our gardeners to come up with ideas on what to do this season. There's a workshop coming up, I believe, on Sunday or Saturday. There's a work party coming up. We're really excited to be starting the design of the GS Strong Garden. We do have a volunteer who has created a concept drawings, and we're working with the board and the participants in GS Strong to make sure it's as solid of a design as possible. And we hope to have that awarded soon. We're currently operating, for anyone who haven't participated in the DIGA gardening, we are operating currently at Pandora and Woodlands in Vancouver, and our hope over the next 5 years is expansion. We'd like to see community gardens in Richmond, Surrey, and Burnaby, and then potentially Burnaby as well. DSA, Disabled Sailing Association.
Hi again. So, for DSA, we provide opportunities for people with physical disabilities to experience recreational and competitive sailing in fully accessible sailboats from Martin 60, of which we have 8 of them. And I'm happy to announce that we will have one new one this year. And so we still have 8 boats, but we'll have one brand new boat, which will be delivered later in April or early May. Of course, the big highlight for us and our future is the dock and the expansion of the pier over there at the Sailing Center. The Park Board is committed to having an accessible floating dock adjacent to this new facility, and the Park Board have the funding and now creating the drawings, the working drawings for this, and from those drawings, of course, they'll be able to put some budget numbers together, so we'll have a full understanding of just how many millions this is going to cost. But it's something that is in hand at this time. Back to kids' days at Jericho Sailing Center, we had 2 of them. We had 37 kids involved in those 2 weekends. So that was a good turnout. And, a good experience for all. We have in 2018, of course, for those that are sailing, of course, here know of our online booking system. The online booking system was across all our programs, but with it, we were able to book 668 sails on the computer or through the computer online, and that's a big help to our office coordinator just to be able to not have to respond to all the phone calls. People were able to make their bookings online and a very efficient system. And we're actually, because it was a first year with it, it had some hiccups, but it's being made better and more efficient. So we look forward to further uptake of that program in 2019. In terms of part of the fundraising that goes on with the support of the Disabled Sailing Association, of course, is the boat donation program, which I'm involved in. And we sold 9 boats in 2018 and generated $154,000. It's a really good program for people who want to dispose of their boats, and we end their responsibilities of ownership by the transfer of the ownership of the boat to the Disabled Sailing Association, and then we sell the boats through brokers. That's one of the boats we just acquired, and that's a $60,000 boat, which is pretty nice to get.
You check it out before you sell.
Unfortunately, the insurance company doesn't allow me. They've actually put that in. You got to take them out for joyrides.
Thanks, Stephen.
You're welcome, Mary.
Okay, so hopefully I see a lot of familiar faces. In case my face is not familiar to you, my name is Eric Molendijk, and I am the National Coordinator for our Tetra Society. So for those who don't know, just to recap, Tetra builds innovative solutions for people with physical disabilities to overcome environmental barriers, providing greater independence, quality of life, and inclusion. Someone can just go to the next slide for me. So with all these exciting things that are happening, of course, we do this through our volunteer base. And Tetra makes customized assistive devices because everybody's need is different. And we are very proud to say that in 2018, 191 first-time Tetra clients came forward and met with a volunteer and said, could you build something for me or help me experience a part of my life more independently or more efficiently? So here's some examples. And again, Tetra is a national organization, so we have an adapted box holder done by our Hamilton chapter. We have a modified sled in Ottawa, and then a bicycle modification done right here in Vancouver. Next slide. So of course, you've heard me mention already how important the volunteers are. And of course, it's also important to grow our volunteer base. And our kind of next generation of volunteers is through universities. We are very proud to say that we currently have a university or a volunteer presence at UBC in Vancouver, BCIT in Burnaby. We've had a long-time university club in Ryerson in Toronto. We have a presence at Carleton in Ottawa University, Queens, which is in Kingston, and NAIT, which is a technical school in Edmonton. And our partnerships with universities continue to grow. So, again, hitting home the national concept of Tetra, we wanted the website to reflect that. So if you've been to the website, that was a really new addition to the Tetra Society. And now when you go to the main page of the website, you can see exactly where Tetra is located throughout Canada and into the States. And we've also designed the website so that even if there's not a chapter in a specific location, you can get a contact of where the closest help can come from. And then to follow up where the contacts are in our map, of course, we all know pictures are worth 1,000 words. And we all know how popular eBay is. So think of our new online database for Tetra as eBay of assistive devices. So you can see firsthand what has been created and the write-ups have volunteer input. So you can see how much it costs to make the device, and you're getting a description of how it was created. So if you yourself are technical, or have somebody technical in your life, you could even make your own Tetra device. And if not, you could go on the website and say, I'd like something like this made, and of course submit an RFA. Next. Okay, so that's Tetra. I'll pass it off now to Graham Wyman, the coordinator for BAM.
My name is Graham Wyman, and I'm the program coordinator for the Vancouver Adaptive Music Society. So BAMS offers programs for musicians of all levels of musical and physical ability to learn to play, record in our world-class studio, jam, compose, and perform live. So the main highlight this year was that we celebrated our 30th anniversary, and that culminated in our 4th Strong Sessions concert. This was the largest participating Strong Sessions concert that we had this year, with 10 artists paired up with different established musicians within Vancouver. Another highlight for us was that our lessons, individual lessons and recording sessions, increased by 207 for a total of 728 sessions in 2018. In 2018, we upped our gig increase by 6 gigs, and the particular highlight was that we performed at the BC Tech Conference this year, where there was about 600 people in attendance at this particular event. So back in January of 2018, we moved downstairs at GF Strong into our new space, which we will be constructing a new studio in. We secured a 10-year lease with GF Strong, and as you can see on the right-hand side here, this is we're in the design phase now for the studio, and we're working with Vancouver Coastal, Fraser Health, and GF Strong on that. So in total for 2018, we have 16 different BAMS musicians performing in the Lower Mainland. We have 47 individual instructional clients, and last year we had 63 drop-in sessions.
Thanks, Graham. So we've heard today about, and definitely the theme through all of our programs, is the power of volunteers. And we definitely, as an organization, want to help more people, and our volunteers help us do that. So we have some stats just on, and this is volunteers in the Lower Mainland. So 272 people were involved in our programs. So that's the Tetra Woodworking Shop, that's Tetra volunteers, people helping individuals go out paddling, sailing, hiking, helping out at Connect workshops. So you can see the impact of volunteers and people helping our clients participate in the programs they want. A new addition to our volunteer base is also volunteers helping out in the foundation itself. As you've already heard about our stats and things on social media and the new websites, so we have volunteers helping out with that. We have 9 new volunteers helping out with either fundraising or contributing to our communications. So a lot of work is being done behind the scenes.
I wanted to mention also our work in communications and awareness. That's been a real priority, as you know. And I want to introduce 2 people who are in the room. Taylor Wagner is a co-op student, a communications co-op student working with us in the office now. And Jordan Cripps, there he is right there. He is our new development and communications assistant, also supporting the team. In terms of outcomes, we really wanted to make sure we had more of an online presence. We established new websites for almost all of the affiliated societies, and we've seen a growth in new visitors. We launched an Instagram campaign last year, and by the end of 2018, we have 1,660 followers. We've seen a 22% growth of impressions on Twitter. We were really intentional in making sure that we were publishing and communicating and engaging more frequently, but also with meaningful content. And by the end of the year, we had over 936,000 impressions. Our Facebook engagement has gone up as well, across the board, all included. We have about 5,700 followers. Another thing that we did that was new in 2018 was a media partnership with Global. We had 2 PSAs run, public service announcements run, which helped us get a reach and get visibility with 1.4 million viewers in BC, as well as 1.6 million viewers nationally. Now, these are all great highlights for things that we're really proud of over the last year. I think it's really important that we remember and that our community remembers that we're very much a learning organization with a growth mandate, with some of the change that we want to introduce so that we can help more people. There's a lot that we're going to continue to learn. So a learning organization is where people continually expand their capacity to create the results they truly desire, where new and expansive patterns of thinking are nurtured, where collective aspiration is set free, and where people are continually learning how to learn together. And I'm really proud of the team. Every single affiliated society in their programs tried something new or made an enhancement to their program. And change isn't always easy, but as you heard in the presentation, that there are some really good outcomes that come from that. There were some things that we learned and we realized in 2018 that we need to rethink a little bit. The foundation and our fundraisers have always done a great job with grant writing. Knowing that we need growth, we wanted to diversify our fundraising and how we do our fundraising. And so we're really changing our mindset from a grant writing mindset to a fundraiser mindset. And that includes everything from prospecting to making asks, whether to corporate or individuals, all the way to stewardship. And so we've really been trying to develop our system and process to ensure that we have capacity. Fundraising is going to continue to be a huge priority. It's a crowded landscape in the nonprofit community. It's important for us to ensure that we've got our best foot forward in that area. In addition, we've got, in 2018, we really recognized that we wanted to tighten up how we were doing our financial management. We want to ensure that people are confident, as they should be, that we are good stewards of donor dollars, or reporting and under-reporting. So one of the things that we did this year was we did a search for a new accounting firm to help us with our audits, and we moved from a notice to reader to review engagements. I'd like to introduce Brenda Yaw, who is a partner with KPMG, who we've now brought on to help us in this work. And I'd also like to recognize Mary Ellen, who came in mid-year. We had a bit of a change in our accounting team. Mary Ellen came in very quickly, learned the complexity of all 7 organizations, and has done a lot of heavy lifting along with David Falk, our Director of Operations. The innovation was one of the strategic priorities, and unfortunately, We didn't give it quite as much attention as we would have liked to in 2018. So a perfect example is we had hoped in 2018 that we would have done the research and development for an app for Connectra. Because of some of the other things that we felt needed attention, that got put back to the back burner, and we hope to bring that back to the forefront in 2019. That concludes the presentation from our team. Before we conclude, I just want to recognize our board members who are in the room. Terry LeBlanc, who is with Connectra and BAMS, as well as Gail Lacey, who is with Connectra. We've got Jean Donaldson and Jack Tate, both of DIGA, as well as DSA. Alexis, right here in the front. We've got Mel Gardner, Maureen DeLanderville, Peter Jefferson, and Annie Avery from the Disability Foundation Board, as well as Michael Thorne in the back there. He's the chair of the Disability Foundation Board. I missed anyone? Oh, Brad Jacobson in the back there with BC Moss. Yes? No? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Anybody else? Oh, Linda McGowan? Yes, here with BC Moss. Perfect. Thank you. Now, are there any questions for the team?
Go
ahead.
Where are we going in 2019?
Where are we going in 2019 is the question. So we're continuing a second year of implementation of our 5-year strategy. Our priority is growth to reach more people. We are going to try to do more things in terms of communications and fundraising. More appeals going out. We might be testing peer-to-peer giving. In terms of the programs itself, BC Moss, for example, we're looking at the opportunity to pilot a new program. I think we'd like to hear from the community in terms of their interest in adaptive fishing. We have friends over from GS Strong here who are interested in talking about adding cycling to the BC Moss program. So we're going to be exploring more program enhancements, using BC Moss as an example. Aaron?
Would you just do the BC Moss video?
We have the video on our YouTube channel. And so one of the things that we wanted to do, we really just wanted to test out the technology, the reception and things like that. What our ultimate hope is not only to have it more interactive, but find a way to get the footage in hospitals, in facilities, in group residences, for example, to try to have people participate in the experience and hopefully encourage them to find a way to come out and actually be active in one of our programs. Hi, Danielle.
Sunday evening
at Fairview Pub. Yeah, Fairview Pub. And it runs from 4 to 8 p.m.
on Sunday.
Yeah, that's Sunday.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, I guess on that note, how often are you sending out? I get SCIBC monthly newsletters, we'll call them, subscribe. I didn't know about the BAMS information, busy Sunday, my apologies. But how often are you putting out that type of information for your different groups who you have on your email list?
That's a great question. So, two things that we try to balance here. One of the reasons why we tend to post more frequently on social media is that people technically are saying that they're choosing to get information from us. Part of the reason why, and we do want to get more communications in. So we want to have an email go out after the AGM with some of these highlights, for example. Part of the reason why we're being really careful to not send too much communications out by email is that we don't want to disengage people. And we have a community where we have several different organizations. Some of the participants or donors are connected to one in particular, and they may not want to hear about others. So one of the things we're doing in 2019 is with our new customer relationship management, hoping to be able to collect more information, hoping to develop the capacity to give people options for what they want to sign up for in terms of communications. We're not quite there yet, but once we get that information, we can be more strategic in how we plan our outreach.
To begin with, it's a general newsletter based with information on all society. If it's just one email per month, I mean, and that shouldn't be too much, because people get, out of my hat, there's no.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's always the fear of the unsubscribe, but you're right. And that's what we're planning to do after this AGM, is to share the highlights, infographics, and be able to provide people an opportunity to sign up and subscribe. Hi, Mary Jo.
I'm curious if thought about ever offering workshops such as, let's say, at I-4 classroom, one of the chefs or people or little workshops are great. People love to tell them what each can do online. You're already doing that in other departments, so
That's a great idea, and we are trying to do to get more feedback from the community. So those suggestions and those ideas are fantastic. Let us know. We want to make sure that the content is meaningful and it's useful and that it's a positive experience for everybody. So we don't want to be just decided by ourselves. So please absolutely reach out and give us your thoughts. Jack?
Yeah, I was wondering if you mentioned that we're having a bigger workshop on Tuesday, and when anybody wants to do that meeting,
Kokedama.
Coordinator is showing on
Kokedama. Shireen is, thank you for that plug. On Tuesday, Dick is having a workshop. Is it at the Roundhouse Community Center? Yes. Where you can create your own kokedama, which essentially is this. Oh, we have a picture. Taylor says communications people are always on top of the images. A kokedama is essentially like a small bonsai. We made this at the SCI annual general meeting. I tried it too. It's a lot of fun. Any other questions or comments? Yes. Hi, Linda.
Hi, just one comment that, and it may sound negative, but I don't think it is. I think sitting in this room, this facility, as participating in building foundation. Great. Like we've all been saying, or we've been writing, or something like that. I think that we're sometimes preaching to the converted. That we need to reach out to get these more.
Yeah.
And somehow, at our recent hospital, with seniors, we're putting some a pattern marketing and big house. I mean, it's always in my head, but it came out when I was reading about the preparation for this meeting that we have a beach wheelchair. I've been on BC Moss for years. I didn't know we had a beach wheelchair.
Yeah.
And if I'd known that, grab that beach wheelchair budget. Mind you, the water here is colder than in Australia.
Yeah. We did test it with the beach wheelchair last year, but and I don't see your comments as negative. I think it's an affirmation about some of the work we've been doing in marketing and communications. We do want growth, and we do have people who know and love us and come and participate, but there are a lot more people who we can help. So from a marketing and communications standpoint, this is why the Global Media Partnership is important. This is why we are participating in the BC Education Access Conference, so that we can directly connect with parents and teachers of children with special needs. This is why we're trying to partner with Veteran Affairs and Armed Forces to be able to help transition service people.
I was impressed by the comment in preparation for this meeting that we've talked to the Parks Board in this province about putting a trail rider in every park, because they've done that in Australia. And I was in Australia, my son was there for a year, 2016, and I actually trekked in 2 parks with a Vancouver trip. And one is available free of charge in the park, you just book it.
And one of the things Yeah, and one of the things that Stephen is spearheading and hoping to get underway this year for both BCMOS and DSA is to expand the week to go 7 days a week if we can get the resources for it. And we're looking at how can we be strategic and structure those 2 days. So maybe it might be for groups, specifically dedicated for groups to come and participate in, say, like our hiking paddling 5.
No, not everybody with disability doesn't work.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefit for a lot of them that work that are like, oops, I can't do it Monday to Friday and then
Yeah, and that's again where the customer relationship management is important, is that we need to collect the information so we can be strategic in some of the changes we make to the actual programs. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Oh, Danielle.
I just wanted to say, next year is a huge threat. Really much what we do in here.
Yeah, we had a beach chair given to us by Sunny Hill, I think. Yeah. And we did promote it to a certain degree. We didn't have any uptake in terms of rentals, and so, like Linda said, how do we get that information in front of more people? Yeah. Yeah, and so Linda, what I think you're highlighting is not only just one-way communications, is how do we find partnerships to get uptake, right? Mm-hmm. Hi. Mm-hmm. Do you remember, Jack, 2 o'clock? If you wait a little bit after we conclude, I'll double check for you and confirm. Oh, yeah, question?
Available at the lifeguard station, and then you don't have to somehow
Thank you for that. I wasn't aware of that, so yes, definitely reaching out, Linda. So Jericho needs one. Yeah. Great. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for taking the time to come and meet with us and to hear about what we've been doing in our organizations. Thank you.